Your mind, your power, and how we can shape our state of mind. In today's episode, we will explore the power of our state of mind and how to make the shift. I will share some techniques for recognizing the underlying reasons behind how we feel, building awareness, and making conscious adjustments. These are insights I personally use and ones that have helped my clients achieve clarity and transformation. Please stay tuned for more detail. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome to the Your Life Now show, where your life and your business matter. Your host is a certified executive coach and trainer with the passion to help make the difference in the world. Your Life Now show brings you powerful resources and effective tips to help you manage your life and your business at its best. And now, here's your host, Coach Ria.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Your Life Now show, where your life and your business matter. I am your host and executive producer, Ria Wilkie, also known as Coach Ria. Welcome to the show. And if you are first time listening, I am the CEO and founder of Your Life Now. And this podcast, or used to be internet radio, was on back in 2011. So here we are 14 years later, and we're still going strong, finding a way. The platform I used to record on was not longer operating, so we had to find a different platform, and we're back. We are available on everywhere you get your podcast, so please check us out. Your Life Now show with Coach Ria Wilkie, available everywhere you get your podcast. Subscribe on Spotify and on Apple Music. So I really appreciate you guys, so thank you again for being here. So let's dig right into it. Normally, I produce a show, I produce a content, I try to sharpen it up, I try to be more of a storyteller versus just kind of, in my background, I'm an executive coach and trainer, and I have great credentials, but I'm not here to sell my credentials here. But all I'm saying is, I try to offer my knowledge and my expertise here on the podcast, along with some guests that I also bring on the show to support, thought-provoking things that can make, things move forward, whether it's in our personal life or in business. And with that being said, today's show, so as I mentioned, I normally produce the content, I work on it, I try to, it depends if I'm doing the show solo or I have a guest, but I am doing the show again solo today. We are still new in this new platform, so we're trying to figure out the way to, host, because I was able to do like a live hosting with my guests. So we're working it out regardless of that, so today I'm doing a show solo, and today's show is actually not scripted. And I call this show a state of mind. So where do I start? I am always fascinated with our mind, and I'm always studying and trying to, I'm an NLP practitioner. I'm also practitioner of emotional intelligence, and I also teach it in leadership. And I think we really need to get in touch with our mind and what we are telling ourselves, and why is it affecting our everyday life and business. So with that being said, I'm looking, of course, first into the mirror. So I'm looking at myself first before I, share this, finding and see how many of you out there actually can relate to that and feeling that way, and what are you doing about it. And this is what we're going to try to achieve here. So what state of mind do you think you have right now? Take a minute to think about it. I personally have it really difficult when you work, with yourself, right? Versus teaching someone else. And I'm being honest with you because it takes a lot of discipline, and I have a lot of discipline. I mean, I've conquered a lot of things that I thought, other one might say it's impossible to do, but it really, if that persistence is there, I feel like I have to always continually work and be vigilant of my state of mind, because how I feel, the state of mind that I am, I would have to reflect out and check what's going on around me. How is this thing affecting me in my, within my own circle, as far as my personal life, as far as my business, how things are working. Is it harmoniously working well? Are you in a good state of mind? Honestly, I find it, like I said, it's a continuously, you have to continue to work on it every day, and just visit, touch it, think and ask questions. What state of mind do I have today? How do I feel? And we have to really honor how we feel, because if we try to avoid how we feel, and again, this is not just on a personal, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I am a coach who works in this area, and based on my, so I'm not giving advices here, I'm just provoking thoughts here. Okay, so just again, to put this thing out there, the show is really intended to be for information purpose and thought provoking. But however, you can at any point contact me directly if you want to work with me professionally. So that would be outside the show. But with all that being said, back to that state of mind. So when we really honor how we feel, what happens? We acknowledge, first we have to ask a question. How do I feel today? How do I feel right now? Because remember, it's when people ask me, like criticizing the business name, Your Life Now, because actually everything happens right now. And I will keep repeating that. So what are we feeling right now? How do you feel? Take a moment to think about it. I mean, even when you at work, when you're working, that one moment that you can take to just recognize something is so powerful. So it's not like it's going to take so much time of your own, schedule to just, like meditation, you have to set, 20, 30 minutes, whatever, you meditate. But I also think, we can meditate at doing whatever we're doing, because if we are at a state of mind that is harmoniously, we in tune with our own energy. So everything is energy. Look it up. This is not this is it is. Everything is energy, and our energy, our state of mind affect our energy. How we feel, what we think, how worry, and how we going. We live maybe in a uncertainty time right now. Time is very there are a lot of things going on, and I really honestly, sometimes I feel so much better and a better state of mind if I don't check the news. We all want to be informed, but we just want to be we don't want to be bombarded with fear, because it feels that's what's out there. A lot of fear of what if, or fear of what, which really kind of stopping us from living in this moment right now and asking ourselves the question of, how do I feel right now? So back to looking in the mirror and talking about my state of mind and how I continue daily to work on it. I guess I've really worked very, very strongly to make myself resistant to sensitivity, like too much sensitivity, because I actually do live my life with awareness and sensitivity. But sometimes that extra sensitivity can affect Like if you hear something or someone said something and it just didn't align with your own, like state of mind or how you feel, like you're in a calm place, and then all of a sudden, like now, okay, so you hear something and that something kind of like created some type of fear in you, and then all of a sudden your state of mind changes, and you become back to like, oh, what if, or my OMG, I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm just throwing, words out there, but, technically you deal with it the way you deal with it, right? So whatever format. So for me, like, I am kind of sort of sensitive. So what I try is when I observe it. So the C is like, awareness is really, really important. So when you focus on the now, focus on, you become more aware of things. And the more you're aware, the better you are of handling sensitivities, like how you feel, what things, how it affects you, and things of that nature. And this is like, in workplace, at home, like again, in news, things that are, like so much going on. If you aware of it, that is half of the process. But you have to trust the process. You are halfway through what comes next. Second, is when you are aware of it, try to just say, cancel it out. Just basically, I try to just say, this is, I'm not going to allow it to affect how I think or how I feel. This is, is there, I know about it, but I'm not going to be embodied like, that's why I don't stay on social media that long. I might post something and I'm very, like I try to, interact with others, and I hope you do interact with me. You can always, go to Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. And of course, my favorite place is LinkedIn. I professionally, this is my place. That I love, the community there. So with all that being said, so I'm aware, I'm a sensitive person, I'm aware of what made me have a change of mindset, like how it what made, my emotions, my feelings different. How did it switch it? And I because I'm aware with it, and yes, I can, I can do this, I can hear it. But anyhow, what I do with it, I just, like I said, I try to cancel it out, and I just try to focus on something else that is like positive, right? And like again, this is a training. It's our state of mind. Remember, the mind is so obedient. It really is so obedient. And I'm like so fascinated. Like I spend so much time learning more of what I learned or that I already know, because I feel like there is no stopping of how much knowledge and how much things that we can grow and know and learn about. We live in a great time regardless of everything else. So this is a shift, right? So I would say, like this could be like time of, where there's scarcity, in a sense of like, there is no technology, there is no way to communicate with there is nothing, and now you left with so many issues and you are so sensitive to it, but then you look on everything is not, there was nothing there, but we do have things, right? So we're able to kind of like work with what we have to change and shift our own. Can you imagine that actually can do that? And I do that. So like whether like, maybe like have a phrase in your mind that you just say to cancel it out in a sense. And then you just say, you know what? Look at the things that is available to us. Look at me talking to you. 14 years ago, I would not have thought I will be comfortable being behind the scene just on like listening to my voice, because I used to always be criticizing myself back then, that is like, I don't know, how do I sound. I do prefer face to face. This is, I'm as I'm recording this, I think about, the process, right? And trusting myself, and now working on my mindset daily. Like I said, when I feel that there's something like kind of shift the way I feel, I remember that I am in control, not my mind. So when whatever I feed my mind is gonna, follow. And again, it takes practice, discipline, knowing that you are so mindful in that sense of understanding how you feel, and now you are able to make that shift, to change things. But it starts with awareness. So I do live my life with awareness and sensitivity, which is really good, because that also comes with having power to empathize with other people. Not sympathize, empathize. Empathize, it create like kind of more a drift of like a positive energy for everybody that you get, come around, like in the leadership, right? Your team, at home, your family, your circle of friends, places of worship, places, sport play, whatever it is that you do, you start, when you're doing that shift, you actually affected others around you. So, and I mean, again, it takes a practice. It takes a discipline, and it takes the determination, I guess, to just look at things in a different way. When we look at things in a different way, when we change how we look at something, we can change the thing that we look at. I know there was some quote somewhere: change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. That's the original quote. I don't take me literally, but I think that's what it is. I'm not looking it up. Like, again, the show today is not script. I don't have anything open. I have no notes. I have nothing. I'm just speaking to you directly and being real. That's first the person, and then a second is the executive coach, the trainer, I guess I love the idea of learning how to create better mindset, understanding why we do the things that we do and how we can change them. Because let's face it, we think about something before we actually do them, right? So if we actually able to change that thought before the action is done, guess what? You're going to have a different outcome. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about our state of mind. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to grow your business and advance professionally? We would love to be of service to you. We are expert in creating the right solutions for you and for your business. At Your Life Now, we know what it takes to succeed and to increase your bottom line and to grow professionally. So for more information, please contact us at yourlifenow.info. Again, that's yourlifenow.info. Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Your Life Now show, where your life and your business matter. I am your host and executive producer, Ria Wilkie, also known as Coach Ria. Welcome to the show. So today's show, again, is unscripted. There's no notes open. I don't have my laptop open. I just have my screen while I'm recording this show. So before the break, we were talking about our state of mind and how our state of mind can affect us personally and professionally. No matter how you look at it, it does affect us in every area and every aspect of our lives. So it's not like a pill that you can take. It's not it's something that you can do by commanding and changing the dialogue, the conversation, what you tell in your mind. So now, when you have a different state of mind, regardless of everything surrounding you, everything, before the break we talked, I'm looking in the mirror talking about myself in a sense of how I deal with, certain things about my state of mind and how I can make a shift. I talked about awareness and sensitivities. By nature, I've always been, since I was a little girl, I was always very sensitive to a lot of things. And, I feel like I always, I empathize. Also, it's a great trait to have, to be able to empathize with others, to feel, So, but in some time, certain things can really affect how we feel, right? So, like, if you are very sensitive and then you encounter, whether it's like in personal life or work or listening to something on the news or whatever it is, that created some kind of fear in you, right? Like, you all of a sudden you're and then you're like, one of the things that I also really, really suggest to recommend, again, I'm not a therapist, psychologist, I'm making sure that we all understand. If you apply any of the things that I share here as a suggestions, you are taking full responsibility, because the show is really intended to be for information purpose and thought provoking. So back to making that shift. Try to learn more about how you strengthen your emotional intelligence. I did a show about that. I spoke a lot of different things because I'm a practitioner. I even use it in my coaching. It's very powerful. It's very doable for us to actually practice it personally and work with it. I mean, I suggested a lot of different things on there, so go back to that episode again. Please support the show, subscribe, and rate us and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback. So I'm always open, and please make it loving feedback. Strengthen our emotional intelligence, our EQ. Look it up. Listen to my podcast that I did on emotional intelligence. I think I shared a lot of different suggestions that could be very, very helpful for you to start. Or again, you can contact me directly from the website yourlifenow.info. RiaWilkie.com is coming soon, and we'll be sharing that. And that's for professionals who, trying to get some touch with me for business. With all that being said, again, this is not scripted, so I'm just really, so a lot of pausing, but I just want to make sure my thoughts are connected here. We're talking about our state of mind, but I think that one of the the most important things, the nice suggestion is to you to really every day you got to visit your state of mind and figure out what's going on with you, right? And one of the simple way to actually visit our state of mind is to ask the question, how do I feel right now? What am I doing right now? What am I thinking right now? And what am I seeing right now? So like get in touch with all your senses in a sense of trying to figure out what's going on with you at that moment. So when you ask that question, or one question, you can just ask, how do I feel right now? Or you can continue with the rest of my suggestions, the questions that I suggested. So when you do that, what happened is you coming to awareness, right? So now you are at a state of awareness where you are aware of how you feel. The second question is, now you don't want to ignore the feelings. Remember, we talked about that. You do not want to ignore how you feel. But what you do want is to recognize it first. And second is to maybe ask the following question, right? My background is in sales. We all sell, no matter what profession we are. But in sales, you follow up with questions to kind of fact find, right? So you ask questions to get an idea about what your client's needs are, and then so you can create the right solution, products, services, whatever, in that sense. So now you aware of how you feel. Now you know how you feel. You can say, oh my God, whatever in your mind. Could be something good, and that's great. But I can guarantee you, being not like going into your daily life without really knowing what state of mind you are, and you act on something and you just say, why did I do that? How many times have you ever seen, or even yourself, been at a place when you ask yourself, why did I do that? Because you were really not thinking about it. You were not aware of it. You thought about exactly the opposite of what you wanted, and then that's exactly what happened. And then, technically it's in the back of your mind, like they say, but that's your subconscious mind. You're constantly feeding into it, and it just writes things down, and this becomes a program. It becomes, more repetition of things. So you want to change that. It's not just the first time. I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say here is try to be aware of how you feel first, and then ask the second following question, perhaps, why do I feel that way? What is it that making me feel this way? So if I'm happy, that is so great. Why am I happy? Well, I just got a promotion, or I just, we just won a big, contract, big deal, and whatever had a baby, or good news, right? There's tons of great news, and we don't hear about it often, unfortunately. Most of the time when we hear about stuff, it's negative. But if you are at that state of mind, how do you keep yourself in that state of mind? So everything you do going forward, it's within that state of mind. So you don't allow things to interrupt that state of mind. You got to hold on to that. That is just so important. But it doesn't happen always. But at least we can try to protect it, right? But let's go to the other scenario where you ask the question, how do I feel right now? And you came back and you said, oh my, this and this and that. And I, all not so good stuff, right? Negativity. And then all of a sudden you're so overwhelmed, and if you reckon, because again, I look in the mirror. I always say, when I even know that I'm certified in a lot of, the things that I teach. But I try to use that to see as a case study, to see on myself, how do I feel about certain things, and what do I do about it, and then make note of the things that works and share it, right? On top of the things that I'm knowledgeable of as an expert. So your answer to how you feel is not that great, and then you follow up with that question. It's like, why do I feel this way? What is prompting these feelings? And remember, you do want to honor how you feel, no matter what feeling you are in, what state. Honor it, recognize it, and just say, how can I deal with you? What do you need me to do, right? So this is like you training your mind. At that point, you ask yourself again the following question. It's like, why? Why do I feel that, that way, this way? And then you come back with the answer, because remember, this is my teaching, the way I teach and I coach. It's all about asking a question and then working out the solution and then the answer together. And then most of the time, you have the answer, but you just have to ask the right question. And that's what a coach does. So, so when you learn with practice to ask yourself a specific question. So, how do I feel? Recognize it. Second is, why do I feel this way? And then now you have the answer. It's like, well, crap, why do I feel this way? And then you can say, oh, I just heard this, or all the stuff is going on, and, things are not that great, and you can make a list, right? And I'm not here to make a list of negative things. This is something I don't like to share anyway. So staying on that note for a second, and then so now you recognize it, you ask the following question, and recognize what made you feel this way. And now you know. And then you just say, okay, so now what can I do about it? I can just have to basically just say, to myself, this is not what I want for myself. I don't think this is, things that I don't want to say you have to worry about it, whatever. But in the same time, you just say, I'm not going to allow it, right? I'm not going to allow negative things, negative situation, negative events, negative people have any effects over my mind at any level of mind, including the outer conscious level, which is the subconscious level. So this is like affirmation. I use it a lot. I literally use it a lot because I'm sending a message to my mind, don't you dare have this affect how I feel. Because I'm refusing that state of mind, and I will allow it not to I would not allow it to affect how I feel at any level of mind. Meaning your conscious mind, because your conscious mind is what you're doing right now. Consciously right now, I am recording this podcast, and I'm speaking to you. That's my conscious mind. Where my thoughts and my language, things that I'm sharing with you, it's coming from my training and subconscious mind. And it's also how I feel. Because remember, looking in the mirror, I'm giving you an example of myself in a situation that will be similar to what what I'm sharing with you here. So now you're aware of it. You try to cancel it out in a sense of not, discarding like how, like I said, we have to honor how we feel. But in the same time, we're not going to allow those feelings to dictate how we truly want to feel. Because ask yourself, do I really want to feel this way? Right? I mean, it's a good question. So try it. Awareness. When you bring your awareness to something, the more you dig into it, the more you realize you worry about something that hasn't even happened, right? And when something has not happened, that means you are in control of changing things within your own mean, right? I mean, maybe on a global level, if we're all on the same level of mind, we can. But on a personal level, maybe we need to just see how this affects us on around our aura, whatever it is, or the things that we're our community, how we live with other people, how we communicate at work, how we do things, and ethically always aim for being authentic to yourself, how you feel, and but in the same time we have to be sensitive, right? We have to be sensitive, empathizing with others. So you got to deal with your own feeling first. But you also have to just, be like, I think we have so much in common, the more than we think we do. And I really truly believe that. But we avoid to look at that in a sense. And I'm not shifting in a different direction here. I'm trying to stay within our state of mind. But it's really affecting us because a lot of things going on with relationships, whether it's inside, outside work, wherever, people are just like, dividing. And then what would happen when, so we don't want to create it, because the opposite of love is not hate, is the absence of love. So again, the opposite of love, not hate, it's the absence of love. So the more we feel like more, loving, because remember, even professionally, people don't realize it's not like, like what we think about love. We're talking about in a sense of like, energetically in tune with each other, empathizing with each other, recognizing that, the more we actually work together, the better we are. And, we can grow a huge business, grow a great company, corporation. The more we become more recognizing we are part of the whole. And whatever we do affect the whole, right? So I'm shifting a little bit, but there's a message in there that I'm trying to put it in there. And for whoever, whatever it takes, I mean all love. And I just, try to point out that, a lot of how most of us feel on a daily basis is really affecting us more because of that division also, because of all that, obviously there's a lot of negativity, but at the same time, we gotta take accountability on our own, side and work with ourselves professionally, work with ourselves, like, to develop a better mindset in a sense of strengthening, again, your EQ, your emotional intelligence. Learn, understand NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So how you talk with others, how you perceive the languages, that's what it is. It's a language. It's the spoken words, right? So I'm also certified as a self-talk trainer. So I do have a lot of, sort of, I say knowledge, but I'm learning every day, and I continue to grow. And the more I learn, I share. And again, I'm available, for corporate events, So if you throwing it out there right now, if you like for me to come out and speak to your team, or you like to work with me on professionally, of course, as an executive coach, you can also contact me right now on yourlifenow.info and coming soon, riawilkie.com. Anyhow, with all that being said, I want to maybe wrap it up and kind of summarize what we talked about here, and what would changing our mindset can do for us, and how we can improve on that. I shared a few suggestions with you. I shared my personal look in the mirror kind of experience, how I deal and try to work on my state of mind. Again, that's the name of the show today, state of mind. To work on it every day, to visit it every day, to ask questions, to get in touch with how we feel, and ask why. Why do I feel happy? Why not happy? And then what? Because again, happiness is a state of mind. It really, truly is. You know, what is happiness? I mean, if you are content, I'm going to share this story from my visit to Kyoto temple, one of the temple there, and I can't recall the name exactly how it says. But anyhow, so I walked in this temple. It was so amazing. But as I was walking out of the temple, there was a little kind of it's almost like if you think about like you go into a hotel, like the front desk or whatever, like there was like some small desk and there was a couple people behind it. They weren't selling anything, but they had like things of the temple, like, you know, displayed underneath the glass cover. And I saw this metal kind of like but it had a circle in the middle of it. So it looks like like if you think of a quarter, a little bit bigger than a quarter, and it had a metal, like a hole in it. So, and it was so beautiful, made out of copper. I don't know what it is. I don't think copper, because otherwise we would have, so I don't know what kind of metal it's made out of, but it had writing on it. So I was asking the lady behind the desk, I said, what is this says on this thing? And she said to me, I learned only that I am content. And it blowed my mind. Because we're all like seeking happiness, right? But are you content? Are you like, I practice a lot of gratitudes every single day, but then again, I'm, for the professional listening to the show today, I'm not going to shift over there, but I do have, I love it. I think it's really great that, that we get in touch with that, so we can change also as a tool, our state of mind. It just, think about how you feel and why do you feel this way, and what can you do to change it, right? And like, again, I think one of the greatest things that it worked for me, right, personally, because like I said, I'm a very sensitive person. I think I'm better. Even when I was incorporated, I had like a really tough call, and I didn't want to, because it was like in my mind as a young woman, I used to like sometimes feel very overwhelmed with the things that was like being at the meeting. And so instead of having anyone see me expressing that, because I remember I said I always love to be in person. I'm better in person and giving my message as well. And that's why I really did very well in sales when I was in corporate. I will actually excuse myself and go to the restroom. And I learned these techniques because I used to suffer a lot especially in college, a lot of anxiety. I used to get anxiety. And I think a lot of people now start to get anxiety and panic attacks. So you hear it all the time. And I think it's just like really a state of mind that we get ourselves into so much deep that, because panic attacks come out of nowhere. I mean, I'm not going to even try to talk about that subject right now because there would be so many, criticism of things. But I, as a person who dealt with panic attacks multiple times, or an event where I feel like, really under so much stress. So I learned how to control it. I had to learn how to control it. So one of the things that I've learned in the beginning, it was like, like I said, I excuse myself and I go to the restroom and I use the tapping. Like I tap on my, if I do acupuncture, not like myself, but I actually do get treatment constantly, acupuncture treatment, but I also know how to learn how to do acupressure. And these are your meridian, your energy, meridian. So I mean, there's tons of information out there, so you can definitely learn how to do it, But I mean, so I used to do that. I used to just calm myself down, get to the point, realize this has nothing to do with me personally. This is like one of the most important things. Don't take things personally. Not everything that you hear or learn about or told, it has really anything to do with you personally, unless you're in a situation that is personally involved. So that kind of also helps out. So, so I used to practice that. And like I said, I shared with you the stories of how that helped me. And I need some water. So, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, takes discipline. I thank you for listening, for being here, for listening to me just being me today. Unscripted. I'm actually gonna try not to even re-listen to it or edit it, because the time I spend a lot of time, I pride myself to try to be very precise and deliver good content. But I think I also wanted to put it out there because it's exactly how I feel, and I'm being very forward in my thinking and how I feel, and I shared it with you. So take it easy on yourself. Ask. Start. Awareness starts with a simple question and leads to higher awareness. I think, who said that? I've heard it somewhere. But that's how I think. Awareness starts with a simple question and leads to higher awareness. So ask the question. Start with that question. How do I feel today? You want to know what your mindset is? Ask that question. You can also ask, like, what am I seeing right now? What am I hearing right now? What am I doing right now? You can dig into it more with more simple questions. That's going to bring you awareness to that particular area, because how you feel could be very general. But if you want to be more specific, then you ask to get in touch with more of your senses. How you see, how you hear, what you're doing, you're touching, right? You're doing, you're on and working, you're speaking, you're talking. What are you doing? You're writing, you're working. Get in touch with how you feel and break it down till you get exactly to the exact answer that you're looking for. And then when you know the questions and you have the awareness, now you follow up, maybe perhaps, with why. Why do I feel this way? And what can I do to change that? Now you're going to have to command your mind again, like, I'm going to share this again with you, and you can twist it, turn it, whatever. I mean, I think I probably got it from somewhere before. I now allow nothing and no one to determine how I'm going to feel. And then say negative thoughts, negative information, negative people, negative event, negative situation have nothing, no impact over me at any level of the mind, including the outer conscious level. And this is so. And I'm going to leave you with this. Stay brilliant, stay aware, stay present and vigilant. And do that in the now. Until next time. Much love to you all. And one more thing. It takes collaboration and mutual agreement to make the impossible possible. So go ahead. Create great relationship and collaboration. And make the impossible possible. Look for insight. Be present. And be all that you will to be. Much love to all.